Dynamos Football Club, along with their head coach, Saul Chaminuka, have been summoned to appear before the Premier Soccer League's disciplinary committee, facing charges of causing the abandonment of their league match against FC Platinum at Mandawa this past Sunday. Dynamos is being charged with causing the abandonment of the game and ungentlemanly conduct by the team's technical officials. Chaminuka has also been charged for disturbing the normal proceedings of a match, causing abandonment, ungentlemanly conduct, and issuing reckless statements to the media likely to bring the game, sponsors, the league, ZIFA, CAF, or FIFA into disrepute. So that hearing will be held on Tuesday, the 6th of July. And Dynamos coach Saul Chaminuka, speaking to the media ahead of their weekend clash, said he's looking forward to that disciplinary hearing, as he believes he'll be having conversations around his area of specialty.
No, I don't think that will, because we are going to be talking about what happened on the field of play, and that's my area, and I don't think I will fail to answering their questions. It will be a question of how they want to taking it. Otherwise, we are going to talking football, and I think I'm the specialist when it comes to that area.
Saul Chaminuka just emphasizing that he's a specialist when it comes to football, but he has been charged with several charges, Terry, from disturbing the normal proceedings of a match, ungentlemanly conduct, issuing reckless statements to the media, causing the abandonment. Does that sound like somebody who's a specialist in this area of expertise?
You know what, rules are rules, and they have to be followed. Rules and regulations that are stipulated by the Premier Soccer League have to be followed by everyone, including Saul Chaminuka. So I think he has to face the music, he has to face it fully.
Is it worrisome that it doesn't seem remorseful? Because I think watching that game, and I was actually doing commentary on that game, you could see after that incident with the referee, Terisani Dirwai, when he awarded the penalty, there was a brief moment, there was a bit of conversation between Shadrach Nyawa and the referee, and then in the aftermath of that, we saw Saul Chaminuka summoning the players, telling them to walk off the pitch. And you know, it's not the first time this season we've seen it. We've seen the Chicken Inn players and then Joey Antipas as well summoning his players off the pitch. Why are we seeing this culture so regularly? I mean, 2 times is way too many for me in just a period of 17 match days.
Yeah, I think it's the issue of emotion and performance of these teams. Because if you are down emotionally, you will be charged, just like what you saw when Chicken Inn also walked off the pitch against Scotland, and that Saul Chaminuka incident. I think it's about the emotions and the performance of the team, and the assumption that the referees are always biased, even if they are not biased. Referees are also human, they make mistakes, but you have to follow the regulations, the setup stipulations that govern the playing of the matches.
Vero, Saul Chaminuka, especially in his comments today, saying he's looking forward to the hearing because he's an expert on what happens on the field of play, seems to suggest that, you know, he believes the officials got it wrong, or whoever is charging him is not an expert in this. Suppose, hypothetically, if, you know, he can prove that whatever happened on the field of play, he knew better than Terisani Dirwai or the match commissioner or the linesman or whoever was involved in that game. Does that justify the walking out? Does that justify the decision to say, you know what, we're not going to play no matter how bad we think officiating might be?
No, I think when we look at the rules and regulations of the PSL and probably the game at large, nothing justifies walking off the pitch. Whether the match official's decision was correct or it was not, there are protocols for any club or for any coach to address their grievances. The noble thing to do was for them to continue with the match and then air their grievances afterwards through the proper channels. So I believe that nothing justifies what they did. And also looking on the other hand, especially on the issue of probably firing Savlo during the post-match interviews, I would take that back to PSL. Because I remember when the Scotland and Chicken Inn game was abandoned, we did not have post-match interviews because PSL said when a match has been abandoned, you don't have post-match interviews. But then for them to allow post-match interviews to carry on at Mandava after such an incident, obviously everyone will be emotional and coaches are bound to step off the rails and say things out of emotion. So I really don't know. Maybe these rules and regulations are enforced selectively.
Well, I can tell you, I was at Mandawa, and both Norman Mapeza and Saul Chaminuka wanted to speak to the media. I think that's the situation that was created. I don't know if there was anybody from the league there to stop them and say, you know what, the matches. But and you know, as journalists, if a coach wants to speak, I mean, the mics were out as soon as because Mapeza was looking. Mapeza was the first one to engage the media because he was actually looking. He wanted to say something, and I think once. Saul Chaminuka then saw Mapeza speaking, he was like, I need to go and defend myself, and now he's gotten himself in trouble. But David, I know you've played the game at different levels, from the juniors, club level, international levels. I mean, it feels like this walking out culture is more prevalent in recent times, but I stand to be corrected. During your days or in all your history in football, is this something that you have seen happen where teams walk off in protest of a bad decision and matches are abandoned without necessarily situations of fans getting involved and missiles getting thrown, as in a team just says, we're not going to accept this penalty, let's walk off. We've seen fans cause chaos and pitch invasions and abandonments there, but I'm saying just a team just saying, you know what, we're not happy with this decision, let's walk off.
I don't remember even a single game that I played and our team or even the opponents, walk off the pitch because of a decision. No, we always have those penalties for us, and matches will continue up until the end. As much as Dynamos are grieving, there was still 20 minutes. Teach, it's a good they could even come back and win the game, but maybe they decided and say, no, we're not going to to get something out of this match because it's FC Platinum and all. But I still feel good. What Saul did was wrong. Also, if Shadrack Nyawa had spoken to the referee, what was the message that he was going, to give to his coach? And whatever the referee said, he could have just told his troops, guys, let's continue playing. He could even have told his coach that, you know what, coach, I think we have to continue with this match. We have to play. That's what normally captains do, isn't it? It's better to be fined for kunonoka kuti pena irowe zviri nani than kunzi muri kufainwa kunzi makatota kuti bhora rimire kwasara 20 minutes asana mbozvinzweni mbora. And to me, that cancer has to stop. Questioning every decision inenge itwa na referee, it has to stop. All these coaches, they know whenever they go to do their courses, refresher courses, laws of the games is always interpreted. The new rules, they get interpreted whether it's the start of the season or in the middle of the season. Laws of the game. So I don't understand why this is happening, especially in our own league. Every decision is questioned. Now, share respect between the referees, between the coaches, between the players as well. So, I said it, I think 3 weeks ago, about it. Let's respect each other. So that, now, my major officials, I will blame each and every week. Are we even looking at ourselves as coaches? Are we even looking at our own players? How are they behaving? Kanava pinam ground. Isusu sema coaches, ndiso anababaga, ndisinofana control avana. And if it's a foul, it's a foul. Do we have to complain about every decision? That's why laws of the games are there. That's why referees are there. And to interpret my laws, which you can unless if the players are not told about the laws of the game. I'm being honest. Maybe I
think this is a conversation that will continue to happen as we try and figure out how to get rid of this cancer. I think it's an unwanted culture in our football. We've seen the ZIFA Referees Committee naming and shaming match officials who they've deemed to have failed at their duties, but obviously that doesn't seem to have appeased our coaches, and maybe they need a refresher course on accepting decisions when they happen.